Alright, so I'm here to do a review of Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born soundtrack. So what's happening is that this soundtrack was obviously part of a blockbuster, major hit, #1 movie. It was on it did really hot on the Billboard charts. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my goodness, like, it's actually #1. Like, I didn't think it was actually a #1 soundtrack in an album. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming for the Bodyguard spot. Like, like. And so I was so jelly at that moment because I couldn't listen to the album without watching the movie. If I were y'all, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I prefer you watch the movie before you listen to the soundtrack. That's just me. I'll be honest with you. The soundtrack was phenomenal, but it also, it felt like Joanne 2.0, but without the theme of Joanne, if that makes any sense. Like, the sound was the soundtrack was very heavy bass guitar. It wasn't rock at all. There was like 1 or 2 songs that were rock, or at least have heavy guitar, and it had like a country sound, and it had some pianos here and there, and it had some trumpets here and there, and some violins here and there. But it felt like Joanne, like the sound of Joanne. It felt like Joanne 2.0. If that makes any sense. But it wasn't, and the songs, in my opinion, so when I was listening to the soundtrack, the songs were pretty random. I felt like the songs didn't really serve a whole purpose other than to be great songs for the movie. I felt like the movie was the one that gave you all the emotions and the feelings that you needed to feel in the movie. Because that's what the movie did. It gave you all that. Whereas the soundtrack, in my opinion, I felt like it was like an addition to the movie. Like, it didn't, like, it was still good, but it wasn't like, the movie was, you know, overall what was the main best about A Star Is Born. Like, the film, the storyline itself. Now, the soundtrack was amazing, it was a nice addition, but I felt like the movie was even better. But anyway, the soundtrack, nevertheless, it was still good. What's unique about it that I didn't think, you know, movies could do that was that it had like dialogues throughout the soundtrack, or it had like voices voices from the movie, recordings from the movie throughout the soundtrack, and I thought it was pretty good, especially, you know, towards the end. But yeah. Another thing that I liked about the soundtrack is that a lot of these albums in general, they like to start off with good songs, like the songs that are heavily produced, heavily promoted, and they throw those out in the beginning, and then they kind of throw out the leftovers at the end. Not this album. This album I felt like every song was uniquely composed, and to the point where it felt like either one of them could have opened up the soundtrack. In my opinion, either one of these songs could have opened up the soundtrack. But, you know, obviously the intro was the one that introduced us to the album, that, you know, kicked off the album. Yeah, the songs that I would, like, I pretty much only heard 3 songs before watching the movie. And that was Shallow, obviously. Always Remember Us This Way, cause I was just random. And I also listened to Black Eyes, and I was like, stop, no more. All these songs are good, but I'm not gonna listen to any more until I watch the movie. And so if I were y'all, and you wanted to listen to some of the songs that were epic right off the bat, I would tell you, like, I'm feeling Heal Me. Heal Me was really good to me. Before I Cry is my favorite. Yeah. But again, watch the movie. Another thing that I felt shocking was that, you know, we had the DJ White Shadow was on the album, the soundtrack, and I was like, oh my god, DJ White Shadow. We haven't heard anything from him since like Art Pop officially. He had some songs here and there with her Joanne tour and stuff, but since Art Pop was the first time, you know, was the last time we heard of him on a Gaga track, on Gaga album. And so it was like, some of these songs you could tell these were just pop tracks that it sounded like they didn't have an agenda to make them. They just kind of basically made these songs just like that, and they thought, you know what, this would have fit well in A Star Is Born. And so you could tell, you know, it had some pop, like actual pop albums, pop songs in this soundtrack. And some of those songs were pretty good. Hair, Body, Face was like a pop song. Look at What You Did, or whatever. I don't know. Look at why'd you do that? Look, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? You know, the song that she performed in the on SNL on the movie. And then another song, Heal Me, that was another pop song. But yeah, I think that was it, you know, that I consider pop. There was also Diane Warren, she was on the album. Julia Michaels was also on the album as a writer. They were credited on Julia and Diane were credited on the album. I think Justin Tranter was also on the album, on the credits. I will say this. The cheesiest song that I thought was so cheesy was I'll Never Love Again. I personally, you have to watch the movie to understand the song. But I thought until you watch the movie, you'll find like a new meaning for that song. But yeah, I thought the lyrics were cheesy. It felt like another Demi Lovato, tell me that you love me, like please don't leave me type of song. And I'm like, I thought it was about you know, like it sounded like another breakup song. But you'll understand the song more once you watch the movie. I'll Never Love Again also reminded me of Unless It's With You by Christina Aguilera. But this movie gave me so much emotion because of the movie. Maybe if Christina did a video for Unless It's With You, I would have felt some type of way, but I didn't. I mean, I still feel for the song, but I would have felt even more if it had a music video. Because those songs were pretty much similar, in my opinion. Lyric-wise. But yeah. I also thought there was a glitch in I'll Never Love Again, you know, before she begins the first verse. But that's just me. Other than that, the soundtrack, solid A+, solid 5 stars, solid 2 thumbs up, solid everything. So y'all need to check that out. And that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all next time.